You're listening to the season finale of the Nobodies podcast. Before we take a brief recess, we've got the season finale of Annie's Approval, another installment of the Nobodies Nose Around, and it wouldn't be our final episode if I didn't introduce yet another new segment, and a man in Florida didn't do something dumb. All this and more coming up.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of The Nobodies, the last of season 1.
Yes, I can't believe, Annie, we've been doing this for a year almost.
Which is really crazy that we've never found a reason to skip a week.
Except for Black Lives Matter. We did skip that. We did, but we put out a statement.
Yes, and there was a good reason.
Definite reason too. That was a reason to skip. Let's just put it that way. I changed, if you guys are watching this on YouTube, which you're probably not, but I changed my shirt because I wanted to match Annie.
He did. And what else is new?
Okay, so it's been a season full of Quarant wins, but this is the final installment of Quarant winning, hopefully ever. So Annie, I want to know how did you Quarant win this season? Well, why don't we put out some clips from we put out some clips on Instagram about our favorite moments. So maybe just tell the people who maybe didn't see that what you said, and then maybe another highlight. If you can think of one.
Well, I just said that my favorite part of this first year was when you and I kind of moved towards taking a stand about issues. And specifically for me, just being very public about the Black Lives Matter movement and where we stand with that was my favorite part, just because, and I said this in the video, it's something I've been passionate about for as long as I can remember. So just being very public about where I stand on that. And this is going to send producer Bryce into a tizzy. I didn't know you were going to drop I have no idea what's happening this episode. Very on brand. But I'm actually going to bypass another highlight. And I just want to talk about Jacob Blake for a second.
Yeah.
If for those of you that don't know or have been living under a rock, Jacob Blake was shot 7 times at point blank range by a police officer in Kenosha, Wisconsin, a couple days ago in front of his children. And before it happened, he had been breaking up a domestic dispute between 2 women. And then once the police showed up, he wanted to get back to his kids to leave. And he was shot 7 times. The good news is he's alive. He's in serious condition, and I did see a news report that he's paralyzed. And I think it's weighing really, I'm trying not to get emotional about it because it's weighing really heavy on me.
Emotional.
I know. Well, I am so frustrated, and I'm not even a Black person. And the NBA, they are all protesting. They're not playing the game. They're all protesting and not playing their games, the playoffs games tonight. I know the Mariners have postponed their game. The WNBA has all postponed. Kenny Smith walked off the set of NBA Live tonight off TNT. And honestly, it's about time. It's so ridiculous to me that other Black people are the ones that are having to do these things and walk off sets and not play and not do their jobs because white people can't get their shit together enough. During the protest in Kenosha over the last few nights, I think it was yesterday, a white man who illegally owned a gun walked into a crowd of protesters and walked around with this huge ass gun for hours. He was untouched by police. He proceeded to kill 2 men and then walked right by the police and left. I just do not understand how this happens. So if you are a listener that falls on the All Lives Matter train, quite honestly, go fuck yourself. Because no one is saying that Black lives matter more than anybody else's, but clearly in the eyes of some police officers and in the eyes of this country, they matter less, and that's bullshit. And I don't understand. Tamir Rice was killed years ago in a park by cops for playing with a fake gun. Last night, a white person walked into a crowd of people, killed 2 of them, walked past cops unharmed. Like, we have to make a change, and you have to be on the right side of history here. And so I'm so glad that we have this platform, but all I can say is get vocal, donate to the causes that you need to donate, do whatever you need to do, educate the fuck out of yourselves, and stop ignoring this privilege. Black people can't change this on their own. White people have to step the fuck up.
Yeah.
And I'm so tired of seeing it.
No, you're right. We're at our wits' end. I mean,
yeah.
it's horrific. I mean, I can't believe that this is happening in our country and that people they are not, I mean, there's still no justice for Breonna Taylor. You know, I mean, it's been months. It's been literal months.
It's been a year since Elijah McClain was
the
killed
cops
for
who
walking
shot
home.
Breonna Taylor have not been brought to justice. And it's insane. And you know what? I've been bad too, because, you know, you don't see Breonna Taylor trending. Now, she was just on the cover she's now going to be on the cover of, I think, Vanity Fair Vogue, that like her silhouette or whatever, but like, it doesn't matter. I sent you this too. Just to piggyback off of what you're saying. It's from A Girl Has No President on Instagram. And it just says, judging a demonstration by its most violent participants, but not judging a police force by its most violent cops is the language of the oppressor. And it's like, fucking man. I mean, what in the hell? How can you, the whole all lives matter. How can you be, you know, oh, our police are getting, are, you know, I hope that they all, you know, people will say, oh, I hope they all quit. I hope all the police quit. And then what's going to happen when something bad actually happens? No one is talking about all of the cops. We are talking about the people who clearly take this as a superior role over people and have a power hungry ego issue. It is not the fact that it's not that we don't want or need police. I just don't understand how people can twist and turn all this shit so violently that it's like, how do you even make a statement like that? Can you really not understand?
Completely. I saw something, because it's the all lives matter idiots. They're quick to say, well, more white people are killed by cops every year than black people. White people make up the majority of this population. The number of black people that are killed every year, based on statistics alone, it would show that black people make up 30% of this country. They actually only make up 13.2%. So do not sit here and say and use that as an excuse. Not to mention, and again, I'm with you. I personally know cops that are good guys.
Of course.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying all cops are bad. In the US, in one year, 1,022 people were killed by police officers. 15 European countries combined. It wasn't just European, it was also Australia, New Zealand, but 15 countries combined in 1 year killed 82 people. There is a problem in America with the police system. Not only that, but it is specifically a huge issue for the Black community. So I'm going to sum this up, because we do want to have fun this episode. But I just want to say to all of our friends that are Black and of people of color, we stand with you. Please do not hesitate to reach out to us on Instagram, on Twitter, on email. It's noexpertallopinion@gmail.com. Please, like, if there's anything we can do, if there's any way we can bring awareness, please let us know. And everybody else, like, just
walk in somebody else's goddamn shoes for a second. Just think about perspective. I really want people who are listening, and I think that most of our listeners do, but tell people who don't, think about things from other people's perspective. Walk a mile in somebody else's shoes. We've heard that since we were growing up. Like,
and stop letting people that you're close to get away with this shit.
Absolutely. I mean, and call me, like, seriously, I'm not immune. Call me out. If I say something that is, you know, I mean, I'm not acting like I'm holier than thou. Let me know. I will stop saying something. I will stop doing something that is oppressive or suppressing someone's voice or anything. You know, I mean, something has got to be done. It's out of it really is just completely out of control. Yeah.
I agree. I will say, now that we're putting a bow on that, it took me a whole year to cry on the podcast.
I know. I was just going to say, I was getting teary-eyed. This is something we've never done before. So, hey,
That's true.
Producer Bryce is happy. No, I'm just kidding. That's awful. I mean, I'm not at it's like, I shouldn't even joke about that, because it shouldn't be like, this is something that is really important. And I think that to echo what you said, I mean, that's what I said in my video too. My favorite moment was when we started talking about politics and this kind of stuff, joining the national conversation. Because at first we didn't want to turn anybody off. And I think that it's really important for us to be able to share the things that we're passionate about, not only for ourselves, but for everybody else. Hopefully, if we're passionate about it, then other people will feel like it's interesting to them that listen to us.
Yeah. I think more specifically, you were afraid to turn people off because you really can't afford to do that.
I know. That is so true. I need all the friends and help I can get.
You know, I don't care.
Yeah, I know. God. I mean, everybody just needs to love me. It's like a real issue in my head.
I'd prefer just people leave me alone.
Yeah. I just feel the same way. I think that we, you know, it is really important to us. And I mean, you know, I think I can speak for you too. Like, I am very concerned, you know, I just want equality for everyone. And I think everyone should have the same shot, regardless of how you look or who you love or whatever it is. It's just, we just want people to be equal and to have a fair shot at everything. And I think that's sort of our main thing. And maybe it's a generational thing too, because it feels like that's what a lot of people are feeling that are our age and stuff. So I hope that continues. But yeah, I think that was definitely a highlight. And I really feel like we hit a stride when we started doing this and when we started talking about this stuff. It just sort of became, don't you feel like it sort of became, and this is like in the best way possible, it sort of just became unavoidable. I mean, at a certain point, you know, we couldn't ignore it anymore. So,
well, and we kind of have a deal and like a pact to be very honest on this podcast. And it's kind of, for you, it's therapy. For me, it's just like a way to get like things off my chest, which I guess is therapy. But yeah, I think we were suppressing that part of because both of us are incredibly vocal about these things on social media and in real life. And so I think we were suppressing that side of ourselves, and that's not right either.
Right. For sure. I think that's great. Well, you know, you guys, and we're going to be right back here right in time for the election. So
buckle up.
All right, let's start in on our final episode with the season finale of our favorite segment, Annie's Approval.
Yes.
Ready?
I'm ready. Always. Okay. Born ready.
All right. So the first, I have three headlines, 3 stories for you, and I need your approval or disapproval. All right. Okay. So a Krispy Kreme worker runs a single donut through glazer 25 times, creates monstrosity. According to Fox News, a Krispy Kreme worker decided to find out what happens when you glaze an original glazed donut over and over again. After an hour of glazing, he and his coworkers then taste tested it, and out of the 4 people who tried it, 3 were only able to take 1 bite before giving up. The last, however, was apparently able to finish the entire thing. Annie, do you approve of this?
Yeah, obviously. Okay, wait though. I'm so confused.
So like they just ran, like, you know, they just, you know, I think it's like an automatic glazer, but they just.
Yeah, no. I know that, but it's basically just 25 layers of glaze.
It's basically just frosting. It was frosting and like a tiny donut piece of it in there.
I mean, obviously I approve of this. Like, serve that to me with a scoop of ice cream and we are in business.
Okay, so in other glaze-related news from Krispy Kreme, the chain is planning to open a flagship location in New York City's Times Square this fall, complete with a theater area that will allow guests to view the donuts passing under one of the largest glazed waterfalls in company history. Do you approve of this?
I mean, Oh God.
How fat are people in this country? Like,
I was just gonna say that. Like, obviously, we've learned nothing in quarantine.
not a thing.
I mean, but honestly, like, Times Square is such a tourist hotspot. So if you're going to Times Square, like, you're either from Middle America and can take down a dozen Krispy Kreme donuts because we all know they're full of air.
Oh yeah, I could.
You're from another country and you already hate us and think we're fat. So, I mean, sure, why not? Just stick with the plan, America.
Great. I like that. Okay, so you 2 approvals. All right. So the next story is teens break into New Jersey petting zoo, ride animals, and cause chaos. A group of teenagers broke into a New Jersey petting zoo, and cops say they turned the place upside down in the middle of the night and cruelly put lipstick on one of the animals. The family that lived on the farm said they tried chasing them down, but all the kids got away. Afterwards, the owner says he was sent a photo of a blonde girl riding one of his miniature donkeys with her full weight on it and a Snapchat filter that read, Abma's Farm, which is apparently the name of this. It appears only one of their it also appears that one of their ponies received a makeover with lipstick applied to its mouth. The facility claims the kids also released a bunch of animals from their confined areas and interacted with the livestock in ways that were dangerous, leaving the creatures frazzled after the fact. No arrests have been made. Annie, do you approve?
I actually don't, because those poor animals.
I
mean,
know.
I don't like that they rode the mini donkeys. That's not good. I don't think that they, like, the fact that they put lipstick on a mini pony or whatever, I don't think, like, that's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But I do feel bad because those animals were probably so confused and so flustered. And that's not fair.
Why are they like influencing at when they break into a farm, like into a petting zoo?
We've seen influencers do far dumber shit.
I know. But still.
One of them probably hit their Instagram and said, I've been getting so many messages about my mini donkey ride. So a lot of you guys have been messaging me and wondered, like,
and so many DMs about the donkey.
I've gotten a lot of DMs regarding the lipstick color on the mini pony.
He's actually Sagittarius.
The pony is a Virgo, and so we went with the shade Pillow Talk. That's a very famous lipstick shade.
Oh, Pillow Talk?
Yeah.
Gosh, I really wish I knew that.
No, I'm really glad you didn't.
I mean, same, but all right. Okay. So final story is I did send you this story. TMZ's Harvey Levin and Warner Brothers hit with a discrimination and retaliation action over outlets' alleged sexist and misogynistic culture. Bernadette Zilio, a former TMZ production assistant and on-air contributor, has filed a discrimination and retaliation complaint with the federal government against Harvey Levin and Warner Brothers Entertainment that could lead to a lawsuit down the line. In the complaint, according to Deadline, Zilio and her attorney detail the culture at the celebrity gossip outlet and sister site 2Fab as a, quote, boys club, 100% a bro fest, and a freaking frat house. And they say when Zilio tried to do something through the corporate channels about how she and other women were being treated, she was punished, pink-slipped, and threatened. Annie, do you approve? Of the lawsuit, sorry.
Yeah, I actually do. I think when you sent me this story, 1, I did not read it. And 2, I said, well, that was only a matter of time.
Right.
I mean, that guy's such a ew. That's all.
Okay, first of all, I actually do know this girl because when I worked at TMZ, I mean, I knew who she was. I didn't work with her across paths, and I really can't. I was so far removed from the TMZ because I worked on a different production just in their office. I was so far removed from that I mean, I would love to be able to say or not say, yes, this is true, but I really can't speak to it honestly. But I will say, like, how silly is, like, not to take away from anything that she's claiming, but like, seriously, if this is really in like a law briefing, like a freaking frat house, 100% bro fest is just like, I don't know. I just thought
I'm sure it is that. I feel like that's the perfect way to explain TMZ.
I know, but I honestly just thought it was so funny that like they used that verbiage. Like,
It's the largest
Bro fest.
It's the largest collection of like mostly straight men that give a shit about celebrity news.
Yeah, that's true. Truth. So you do
So
approve of the lawsuit.
I do.
Okay, so that's, well, I guess there was sort of 4 stories, so 3 and 1.
Yeah,
Pretty good.
it was pretty good.
You should have tallied up them all. Oh well.
You can do that on the hiatus.
Sure. Yeah. That's
Report
fair.
back.
Okay. Again, you can go to the toilet or something if you need to. I'm gonna because we're now moving on to the latest installment of the Nobodies Nose Around. This time, the Nobodies Nose Around on the Conways. Who are they? Well, let me just pontificate for a moment. You may have heard of George Conway, an attorney and founder of the Lincoln Project, which is an anti-Trump super PAC made up of several current and former Republicans who endorsed Joe Biden for president, and also known for lighting social media on fire. However, you've probably definitely heard of his wife, Kellyanne Conway, who is a top Trump advisor and perfectly impersonated by Kate McKinnon on Saturday Night Live. Yes, these two are married. 2 people on complete opposite sides of the spectrum share a bed. This insane arrangement seemed to be working fine until earlier this week when both Kellyanne and George announced that they were going to be stepping down from their respective posts, George from the Lincoln Project and Kellyanne from the gates of hell. Slate magazine hypothesizes that while the resignations of 2 major Republican figures ahead of an enormous election may seem sudden, for anyone who's been following the story of their oldest daughter, Claudia Conway, and her social media rebellion this summer, it didn't come completely out of nowhere. Neither Kellyanne nor George's statements, which they posted on Twitter on Sunday night, directly mentioned Claudia, but the announcements followed a 24-hour period that had seen the 15-year-old publicly announce her wish to seek emancipation from her parents and claim years of childhood trauma and abuse. Claudia recently tweeted to her newly sizable social media following that she was devastated that her mother was planning to speak at the Republican National Convention earlier this week, and that she was officially pushing for emancipation. She had criticism for her father as well, writing that despite sharing common sense when it comes to our president, the two agree on nothing politically and that followers should stop standing him. She also posted on TikTok writing that running away phase 1 starts tomorrow at 7 a.m. On Sunday, Claudia tweeted again to say that she was not getting emancipated because of my mom's job or her mom's job. She also wrote that she planned to take a hiatus from social media, adding, "No hate to my parents, please." This talk of emancipation and abuse seems to be what made the Conways start taking the situation seriously. Despite the social media hiatus she promised after her parents' statements went up, Claudia went back on TikTok, taking credit and grandstanding, which again is pretty understandable. She's a teenager. However, neither of her parents, who are adults, could resist final jabs toward one another. Kellyanne went out praising Trump's leadership and its positive impact on the peace and prosperity of the nation and on millions of Americans who feel forgotten no more. George stayed on message as well. He said, "Needless to say, I continue to support the Lincoln Project and its mission passionately." So, Annie, did you know anything about this story, and what do you think about it all?
I knew about like the bullet points only because I had read an article about Claudia's social media outburst.
Oh.
I mean, you take one look at these people and you can tell they have issues.
Do you think you could marry someone so politically different from you?
No.
No.
I only say that because right now, like, I want to punch most Trump supporters in the face. And so, and I genuinely, like, I can have a civil conversation with someone that's a Trump supporter depending on their reasons for supporting him. But I have some people in my life that are just Trump supporters through and through. Like, it's not like, oh, well, he has done some good for the economy. It's not like those people. Those people I can kind of like, okay, so you're against babies being in cages.
Yeah.
Like, but I have some people in my life that are just blind through and through Trump supporters, and those people will not be in my life for very long. So they will move from friend and family to an acquaintance role. And so for me, I just could never be married to someone, because how do you sleep in bed at night with someone that goes against like every core value?
Well, I was just going to say, I definitely would marry someone who is so politically different from me. My type is totally that conservative pundit, Tommy Lauren.
I
She's
mean,
like,
that is
she's
visually your
beautiful.
type.
She's beautiful and she's awful. Like, I just want to,
Yeah.
we could just fight all the time. It would be just great. It would be.
No, that girl sucks.
So you do not approve of my,
Not
of my
even,
quest?
you can barely get it out because you know that it's not true. I mean, listen, she's a beautiful girl, but you can't fix a bad personality.
No. I mean, I don't want to criticize like a minor being Claudia in this instance, because there's like, this is clearly not her issue, but it sounds very like Amanda Bynes to me, you know, like, I mean, I just know that it must be serious, because there's very few things that would pull Kellyanne Conway like from the Trump White House and deceiving the American people every day. So I have to imagine that this is pretty serious. No, but serious. I mean, I'm like,
No, just when you said deceiving the American people every day.
oh,
That made me.
well, I mean, it's
me
true.
laugh.
She goes, I mean, this is a woman that came up with alternative facts.
No, trust me, I know. I think
It's
she's a
called
joke of a
lying.
person.
Like, it's not called, I mean, first of all, her parents seem completely insane if they thought that their feuding jobs were going to A, stop at the office, or B, you know, create a stable home environment. Like, I mean, are they,
Is
either
this
way,
their only kid?
I think they have more. I think they have more than one. I don't know that. I don't know, but
She's just the only one running away from home.
well, yeah, here, I mean, I can look it up. I can just, I mean,
Well, it's not, I really don't care that much.
no, but it is interesting because I wonder, like, I mean, she has to be, let's see, hang on, sorry. Maybe she only does have, no, she has 4 kids, Claudia, George, Charlotte, and Vanessa. So Claudia's the oldest. So that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I can certainly like lambaste Kellyanne Conway more than her husband because she's working for a bankrupt reality star. But I mean, he's at fault too. Like, couldn't he have just like headed up the Lincoln Project and then, you know, stepped away? Like, I love the Lincoln Project and I think it's great, but I also just sort of feel like, why did he need to head this? Like, when his wife is working at the White House? I mean, maybe that's the point, but
yeah.
It seems a little crazy. And I actually can't believe Donald Trump kept Kellyanne Conway gainfully employed while getting into Twitter spats with her husband. Like when he was at 3 a.m. when he was on the toilet.
He probably loves it.
I mean, I don't know. I think that that's ridiculous.
You can't say Kellyanne Conway without saying Trump's name. So of course he loves any press that she gets, regardless of if it's good or bad.
Well, he's like fighting with her husband all the time. Like, they were constantly sparring on Twitter.
God, just imagine being in your 70s and behaving this way.
I don't know. I mean,
I don't know how old Kellyanne Conway is, but she looks 70.
She's probably 50. No, I know. But I mean, even then, like, this is just got, you know, I mean, truly, genuinely, I hope that they come together and resolve this. It sounds like they're making the right choice for their family. Like, politics aside, I mean, you could totally easily make fun of them both, but I really hope that this, because it does sound like they need to stop being selfish and like focus on their family.
Oh, 100% they need to do whatever's best for their kids. And in some scenarios, the best thing for the kids is to not be together anymore. So
I mean, I know that's not funny, but just
it's true.
It's true. Okay. Finally, we're going to talk about something we've never talked about on the podcast before. And frankly, it's shocking because it's one of Annie's favorite things. Since she's had to suffer through all the things I want to talk about, i.e. Donald Trump and or Taylor Swift, I thought it was high time we discuss something near and dear to her heart. Those of you close to her know that I am, of course, referring to the long-standing medical soap opera, Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, yeah.
In another brand new segment, I'm calling Annie's Anatomy.
Oh, I love this.
All right. So Grey's Anatomy is preparing to start on its 17th season. What the fuck? And ahead of that, leading lady Ellen Pompeo went on to Dax Shepard's podcast, Armchair Expert, also one of Annie's favorite things, to discuss an array of topics, including her apprehensions about continuing to play the titular role of Meredith Grey after her co-star and on-screen husband, Patrick Dempsey, departed the show. When Patrick decided to leave during season 11, she said it was completely different for her than when her co-star Sandra Oh left the season before. This was because this time she had to deal with the studio and network who thought she may not be able to carry the show without the man. Ellen said, I could have left because the man left, which is not a story that I want to tell. Like, he's not here anymore, so I have to go. So that story then becomes, what can I do without the man? Because they had to put that in my head for so long that I was no good without him. So, all right, Annie, I want to ask you first, what do you think about this statement?
I think that a lot of people assumed that she wouldn't be able to carry it by herself.
And do you think that she's done? I mean, you're the fanatic. Do you think that she's done a good job? Like, has the show been the same since Patrick Dempsey left?
It's just different. I still watch it every week, so obviously it hasn't swayed me very much. I'm also just a huge Ellen Pompeo fan. I just love who she is on the show. I love who she is in real life. And I think she's just kind of a badass woman, and I think she's done a really good job. They had to bring in different characters and things like that when he left. But that's like any show when a main character leaves. Right.
But I mean, you think that she has no problem. I'm sure that from a character standpoint, maybe you miss him, but like, he's out of the equation. It was like seamless for them to transition him out. Like, it wasn't some major loss necessarily.
No, it definitely was. I mean,
it was.
Derek Shepard and Meredith Grey was like, their relationship in terms of pop culture is like one of the best love stories of our generation. So I think so I recently started watching Grey's Over from season 1.
By the way, I was so glad because you literally texted me last night. You're like, I'm in my happy place. I'm watching Grey's Anatomy. I made cheesy broccoli or something?
Yeah, I made cheesy chicken and broccoli pasta.
I was so floored. You should have seen my face just like beaming in my apartment because I didn't want to say anything about this segment because we have never talked about this, and you're a huge Grey's Anatomy fan. And I don't understand why you still watch it. Like, it was.
I'm on season 6 already, and I like started over from season 1.
Binging?
Yes, it's all I've been watching.
Honest to God, I will say the first and maybe second season. The first season of that show is one of the best seasons of television.
Yeah.
Bar none. Like,
yes.
It was incredible. I mean, I will say Shonda had to sell out a little bit because she was now like, they moved it to a prime spot on the schedule, and like, she needed to make it more soapy, I think, which, that just happens with shows. But like the first season of that show is so like, it almost is like an indie show, like a show that would be on HBO or like a show.
It's incredible.
Like it's so good.
Yeah.
And the second season is also really good too. But
so are seasons 3 through 16.
All right. Okay, fine. Yeah. All right.
No, I mean, they've had their moments, like any show that's been on TV that long. They have their moments where it's kind of like, okay, this is kind of boring.
Yeah.
I've never missed an episode. Just going back to asking the question about when Patrick Dempsey left.
Yeah.
That is still one of like that episode for anyone that watches Grey's Anatomy is the most gut-wrenching. Like, the way they killed him off that show is so fucked.
Ugh.
And I know he and Shonda Rhimes had quite a few issues.
Like, you mean behind the scenes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that's too bad.
He may have even broken contract to get out of the show.
What do you know what it was? I mean, was there anything do you know why or like what they had issues with?
Well, he kind of left acting altogether when he left Grey's.
Oh.
Because he also races cars. So I think he was just kind of over it.
Oh, got it.
To my knowledge, but I don't know for sure. I don't even know if he's ever publicly talked about it. But I know Shonda has made comments about how she and Patrick Dempsey did not get along.
Right.
I think the season after that was hard because they also kind of put Meredith was like off, like missing for a while. Like she just up and left when Derek died. And so I think people just didn't really know what was going to happen. But obviously, I mean, they keep getting re-signed. So obviously people still watch it.
Yeah. I mean, why do you love it so much?
Well, let me be clear and say that I will watch every medical show on TV. I
could have been a doctor.
I should have been a doctor. Trust me, that will go down in my life as my biggest regret. No, but I mean, I watched New Amsterdam, The Good Doctor, The Resident, Grey's Anatomy. I used to watch House. I watched ER. Like that.
Wow.
I really love.
You are a medical obsessed.
Yeah, no, I love them. They're my favorite genre outside of reality. So I think that's part of it. And also I mean, I started watching it when I was a senior in high school.
Wow.
And so for me, it's like I've grown so attached to these characters. And what's weird is when I started watching it over, I remember almost every single episode, which is really bizarre.
Yeah.
There was one season 5. I think season 5 there were some patchy spots, but I was in college then. So it's
well, clearly there would be some patchy spots.
Exactly. So, but other than that, I like remember everything. I'm so excited for them to start filming and for it to come back on. It's like what I look forward to on Fridays is because I don't have cable. So I watch it like the next day on Hulu and I look so forward to it.
Do you think that what she said was like, I mean, like, do you think that was valid in terms of like what she said about being like leaving with the man? Like, yeah, we kind of already talked about this, but like, I just was curious do you think that was, I wonder how serious that was. Like, I'm not saying that it wasn't, but it just meaning like, cause to me, I feel like she could easily carry the show. You can't have Grey's Anatomy without Meredith Grey. But I get the sentiment. I get the whole sentiment. Like he was the marquee name when the show started and they got him and, you know, whatever. And they had this crazy love story that everybody loved and stuff. But, you know, to me, it feels like she's selling herself short. Cause I think I wouldn't have ever thought that, but I am also a man. So
I was just going to say, you're also a white man.
Yeah.
At 100, look at just actresses in general. Like there are so few female-led shows.
Yeah.
I mean, you and I have talked about this because you are writing one, or you know what I mean? And so I think like that naturally, not to mention like Jackson Avery's on it, which is Jesse Williams. Like they easily could have slotted him into the main, you know what I mean? So like, I don't think she's selling herself short in that regard, only because that's the reality of Hollywood.
Yeah.
No one thinks a woman can do it.
Well, no, I'm saying the opposite though. I mean, I hope you know that that's what I'm saying.
No. I do understand what you're saying.
All right.
I'm saying from the general
just like, oh God, did I just say something super misogynistic?
No. I know you're saying it from the perspective of like, she's a powerful woman. Like, why would she not be able to do it?
Right. But
the reality is right.
Right.
You're also coming from the perspective of like women can do anything men can do because that's just your stand. Like you're a male feminist.
Yeah.
Which is great and we need more of you. But no, I mean, I think her concern was very valid. Did you listen to the whole interview?
No. Did you?
Yes, of course.
Oh, good. I figured you would. What else?
The moment it popped up, I got like a little notification.
I
like,
bet you died. I bet you're like.
Oh, immediately. I was like, boom, play. Like I said, I just really love who she is as a person, and she's had her missteps like we all have, but I think she's on the right side of history for most things. Mm-hmm. And so I just dig her. But the interview is really good. I highly recommend listening to it.
Oh, good.
Because they talk just about like, she even made the comment that she's watched herself age because now she's almost 50. And
she's probably 30. Like,
yeah, she said over the last 17 years, I've watched myself age on screen. And she was like, I've never had Botox. I've never had filler. And she actually said like, it's such a mind fuck. to watch myself age on TV because most people in Hollywood are getting work done. So she's like, it's really hard. Are you sweating or?
Yeah. Excuse me. I just have to dab myself a bit.
You're dabbing your collarbone.
Feeling a little verklempt.
Collarbone sweat.
I'm feeling verklempt.
But no, I mean, I think they talk about that, how like just how women age out so much faster. They talk about how like they think that sometimes writers of shows mess with them. Like there would be things happening in Ellen's personal life that would all of a sudden kind of show up in the show in a different way. And Dax at one point was like, oh my God, that happened to me when we had our daughter Lincoln. Like the next time I showed up to film, a new character showed up on the show named Lincoln, and I thought they were messing with me. And so they kind of, it's just a good interview. Like you can tell that they have a history of being friends.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're good friends, but like there's definitely a history there. And she's just so like smile. You know how you can tell when someone's smiling? Yeah. She's so smiley and just warm. Right. So it's a really good interview.
Oh, good. I'll have to check it out. So wait, on Grey's Anatomy, there's McDreamy, McSteamy. If I was on the show, what would my name be? McDummy?
McSingle?
McChicken.
McDreamy was Patrick Dempsey.
Yeah. I mean, I watched some of it. I watched a few.
Did McSteamy I think he was on in season 2.
Yeah.
That's Eric Dane.
He was there.
Yeah.
I remember him. But yeah, I watched a couple seasons of it. Definitely. I don't know how many. I think just the first 2, maybe. Or the third. Maybe I did the third one too. All right. And to close out our season, we head over to Florida Man.
Thank God. Our tried and true.
I can't wait for you to listen to this one because I laughed out loud. This week's headline reads, drunk Florida man drives lawnmower down highway, tells cop, just take me to jail. Body camera footage captured an inebriated Florida man asking a sheriff's deputy to take him to jail after being caught driving his lawnmower in the middle of the highway. A Marion County Sheriff's deputy arrested the man, Paul Burke, on a DUI charge. Burke has had 3 prior DUI convictions and has had his driver's license suspended or revoked 7 times because of DUIs or refusing to submit to a breathalyzer. Burke initially attempted to do the field sobriety exercises but had trouble walking and standing still. When the officer pulled him over, Burke asked, well, can you just give me a ticket and be done with that? The officer then asked again if Burke wished to do the field sobriety exercises. No, sir, just take me to jail, Burke replied. Later, the sheriff's office issued a statement saying, driving a lawnmower in the middle of the road where the speed limit is 55 is dangerous and illegal. Add being drunk into the mix, it can become fatal. Well, no shit. The office charged Burke with 2 felonies, including a 4th or subsequent DUI offense and a 3rd or subsequent moving traffic violation with a suspended license. The office also charged Burke with 1 misdemeanor crime, refusing to submit to a blood alcohol test while having a suspended license, according to the office's inmate records. According to the office records, Burke has appeared in the inmate system at least 14 other times, with incidents dating back as far as 1990.
Oh my God. Like, do you think that Florida does this on purpose?
Like, they're like, it's a slow news day. Let's get some homeless guy drunk and put him on a lawnmower.
That wouldn't happen anywhere else.
No. What is going, but like, what was he, I mean, obviously he wasn't thinking, but like, if you were at all in your right mind, like what would be the motive to like get on a lawnmower? Okay.
There is no one in Florida in their right mind.
Right.
I mean, they eat each other's faces off there.
But I'm just saying that, like, if you are thinking, I mean, I guess this is.
It was probably the same mindset that some people have, like, oh, well, I'm not going to drive my car, but I'll just hop on this bicycle.
This is a lawnmower. But I'm just saying, like, so you take your lawnmower and you drive it. So, like, first of all, you're not going like 100 miles an hour. It's not like you can get that places that far. So, like, he'd have to drive it out of his neighborhood, drive it onto a street, drive it onto the highway. I mean, it's like all of these things would have to happen. And then like, at what point are you like, oh, probably shouldn't do this? Or like, this is really stupid.
Well, but if you've had 14 DUI related issues, like you're not thinking about, I shouldn't do this at all. Like you're just down for whatever.
Honestly, I just laughed so hard when it was like, drives lawnmower on highway. Just take me to jail. Oh,
I mean,
God.
listen, when you drink, you go get on a bird scooter and ride the subway.
That's true. That is true.
Like, what if he just wanted Subway?
You know what? I retract my statements.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, I could easily have gotten on a lawnmower and rode just my 24-hour Subway and gotten 2 double turkey wraps and fallen asleep with one of them on and like woke up with on my face. I mean, it would have not been crazy.
Honestly, if someone said to me, like if we were playing a game and not you and I, like someone else, and they asked me, which one of your friends would ride a lawnmower while drunk? It would take me less than half a second to say your name. Like that. And that is so serious.
I mean, I feel like that
is not a compliment.
Oh, well.
Other than the fact
I thought you were saying that I was like manly, I'm gonna get on a lawnmower.
No, I don't know how the hell you got that, but no, I was mostly saying it in terms, like I say it's not a compliment.
Like, I thought you'd think that I was manly enough to operate a lawnmower because I don't know that most people would think that. So,
I mean, no, you just have a very strong brand.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Well, Annie, that's our season.
Wait, I have a question. What is your favorite Florida man from this season?
Probably the guy who defecated, who like went to school and defecated on. That was, I think, our first one, wasn't it?
It was one of the first.
So insane.
It was one of the first ones. I was gonna say mine
broke into a school, defecated everywhere, defecated in, like, took shits in and outside the school.
But on like the window ledge of the classroom.
Yes.
That one is burned into my memory. And honestly, I think about it at least once a week.
There were a couple, honestly, it took me it was a little bit hard to choose. There were a couple other ones. Like some guy bought a Lamborghini because he got $13 million in PPP payments, like for the coronavirus. He like was taking all this money. He was like asking for all this money from the government, and he did like he got $13 million, bought a Lamborghini, and then they like repoed it. And he was like, I didn't do it. You're like, yeah, you did. Yes, you did. There was another one too that was like it was like somebody naked. I mean, why is everybody naked in Florida too? They were like running naked. Oh, do you remember the other one that was like the couple were naked? They started having sex in the back of the cop car because they were like selling bath salt and they were selling drugs. Oh no, they were selling like Jesus, like coronavirus. That was another good one.
Yeah.
Maybe those are 2 different ones.
Yeah, they were selling the coronavirus cure from like the church of something.
I actually think no, those were 2 separate ones. Like there was a couple who was like at the beach who then got arrested.
They were selling tickets to heaven or something.
Yes, maybe that's it. And then the other people, the family, the dad and the 2 sons were selling the coronavirus cure of like it was like just bleach in a bottle. Like
the dad and the son sold the bleach. The couple that was selling meth, or they were on meth and they were selling tickets to heaven and they were having sex in the back of a cop car.
I mean, what is going on in Florida?
I mean, truly, it's a mystery. You are so sweaty, so we can wrap it up.
Oh, God, it's so gross. I don't know why. It's these lights, these beams.
Are you using a ring light?
I wish I have a ring light. I'm using these, like, they're just lamps.
Oh, nice.
They're just 2 lamps. I need a ring light, but that was another thing that I was going to buy. It would be a waste of money. Okay, well, that's our season. I can't believe we made it this far. It's crazy. We've done 47 episodes, Annie. We were just shy of 50.
That is crazy.
I mean, we'll hit 50. But okay, be sure to watch out for some off-season content and our hiatus hump day headlines coming to an Instagram near you. We'll be back with more expert guests and plenty of opinions in season 2.
As long as Bryce makes it to season 2.
Hey,
No,
don't
guys,
jinx
in
me.
the interim, please make sure you're following us on Instagram. That's where you're going to find all announcements and any content that we put out. It's at Nobody's Pod, at Annie_Wilk, and at Bryce Advice. You can also follow us on Twitter. Bryce is live tweeting a lot of different things these days. So it's at Nobody's the Pod, at Bryce Advice, at Annie_Wilk.
Are you still not tweeting anything?
Still not tweeting anything, but maybe I'll mix it up here during the hiatus. And then TikTok is at Nobody's Pod, same for personals. You can also email us at noexpertallopinion@gmail.com. And also the koozies are still for sale. We'll put the link in the bio.
Yeah.
Of at
It
Nobody's
should
Pod
be
on
there,
Instagram.
actually. It should be there now, but if it's not, I will put it in there.
Yes. So you can also purchase those. It's 1 for $5 or 2 for $8, and they're the thin can koozies for White Claw. Please tell at least one friend they have a ton of episodes. They have 47 episodes to binge. So tell a friend. And we're excited for season 2. I'm even more excited for a month off.
True. Thank you, guys. We will see you next season. Wear a mask, register to vote. We hope you have an amazing weekend.
And more importantly, a mediocre week and month of September. Thanks, guys.